Hey folks, welcome to our interview with Alrik Bursell, the filmmaker. Made a great film I saw recently, a short film called Strange Thing. And Alrik, welcome to the interview series, show, podcast, whatever you may call it. We're really glad to have you here and really looking forward to talking about this film and some of your other work.
Awesome. Well, glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. And I understand you're also down there in the heart of the Raiders Nation, right?
Yeah, in Oakland, right
Yeah.
by Merritt. Yep.
Yeah, tough years, but hopefully things will be getting better for us.
Yeah, I'm excited about next year. I think we're gonna get it down this time. Derek Carr's the truth, so
Yeah,
we're the team.
yeah. Well, part of being a Raiders fan is knowing pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
let's.
they're exciting to watch though. They're fun, so that makes it better.
I missed pretty much all of last season because I was setting this club up and getting all this going.
Right,
But
right.
anyway, let's jump right into it and start talking about Strange Thing. Why don't you tell us about the film itself to start with?
Sure. Well, Strange Things is a story about a couple who wake up to find a doorway has appeared in their living room, and they don't really see it at first, but once they notice it, they're like, "What the hell is this doing here?" And they basically decide, like, try to have a conversation to decide whether or not they're going to open it or not. And of course, they do open it, and then it just kind of goes from there. And yeah, this film I wrote it about 2 years ago now, over 2 years, and it sort of just started with my wife just asked a question. She's like, "What if a door appeared in our living room?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then I went and I wrote it in like 5 hours, stayed up all night, and then woke up and started revising it. And this is basically the first like part of the script from it was all up till the door opened, and then from there I had to go back and figure out where to take it from there, because basically once the door opens you can go anywhere you want, and that's what I liked about it so much, was like, oh man, the possibilities are endless. So yeah, that's how the film started.
So, now you mentioned it was 2 years. Is that like how long it took you in total to get the project done?
Yeah, so basically it was we shot it really fast. Like I wrote it in probably August of 2012, and then shot it in October. It was really, really quick. And then from there, it took about a year to actually finish it and get it done. And then from that point, it was October of 2013 when the movie was finished. And then I started submitting it to film festivals. And I got into my first festival in Boston in February of 2014. That was the Boston Science Fiction Film Festival, which was a fantastic experience. And then yeah, from there it was about a year of film festivals. I did my last one in January of this year, and so that was when I decided to release it online. So it was basically like a year of post, a year of like film festivals, and then now it's finally online for people to see.
Yeah, how have you been finding its reception?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting 'cause at the different film festivals, I would get a different reaction. So like the science fiction film festivals, people would be noticing all the little references to Star Trek and all the little things, and people, there's always somebody who knew the episode that the monster was based upon. And then the other more like less genre specific film festivals,
Mm-hmm.
people would be like, what the hell was that?" Like, because like the beginning kind of starts out like you're not exactly sure what's going to happen, because it's not really super heavy science fiction at first, and like it's not necessarily clear that this the kind of movie it's going to be, and then it just kind of takes you by surprise about 3 or 4 minutes in. So yeah, I got a lot of different reactions, but all positive. People seem to laugh at the same jokes and react to the same scares mostly. But yeah, it was really fun. It's been great to just take it around and like have people watch the movie. I mean, that's the best thing about the film festivals, is just
Yeah.
seeing people watch it, and like being in a theater with like 10, 20, 30, 100 different people just enjoying the movie, and it kind of makes it all worth it when you do that.
Yeah. Uh, One thing about the format, getting back to something you mentioned, it has a good quality of a callback to some of the tradition of like Twilight Zone and Outer Limits, and those bizarre tales.
Yeah, totally.
Uh,
I was heavily inspired by Twilight Zone, and and just like, like kind of old school science fiction where it's sort of like, this is a real situation, these are real people, and then this crazy thing just happens, and like, let's deal with it in a real way, and not try to make it all fantastical and hokey and silly. Let's like try to treat it with respect. So
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely that. How did you end up with an Aussie in your cast?
yeah. So I started by doing auditions locally here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I auditioned about 25 people. And there were some really great actors, but no one that was quite perfect for it. And then from that point, I did an online search, through LA, basically. Like I reached out to this network, and I've got about 1,000 different submissions for the role.
Huh.
And from there, I just, went through all the demo reels and all the headshots, and I interviewed or auditioned probably another 20 to 30 people, all via Skype. And yeah, David O'Donnell, who plays Jake, was one of the ones that like we did a little Skype audition, and like right away when he was reading the lines, I was like, oh my god, like this guy, he's awesome, and he does an American accent and an Aussie, and he is from Australia, but he does an American accent because that's kind of like what's expected
Uh-huh.
in Hollywood. And he did a great job with his American accent, but I was just like, you know what, like I'm searching for what's real, and you're more real in your native like dialect. Let's just do it that way,
Yeah.
and he preferred to do it that way too, and so that's how that happened. But I was kind of just looking for the best actors for the role. Like I was kind of, I auditioned a lot of African American actors and some Indian actors, and it was kind of just like, man, it would be great if we get an interracial couple too. Like that was sort of what I was originally thinking of, but it just didn't work out, and David just nailed it. So that's how he ended up in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it did work, that's for sure. Sounded like he
Cool.
was from Queensland. Queensland,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where he's from, but he goes back there quite a bit, and he's trying to make some real cool stuff happen too.
Yeah. So, now is this a really hard production to get done? You have a lot of things getting in
Yeah,
your way along the way?
yeah, lots of challenges. First was budget. I kind of just decided that no matter what, I was going to shoot this movie in October. Like I kind of had a lot of chances to push the shoot back till January or even December, but I was like, you know what, I want to get this done. And the first thing that happened, I had an art department lined up for the movie that I'd worked with on a previous project, and about 2 weeks before the shoot, they backed out, and I had sent them a check for props and stuff, and they just
Oh,
said we can't do it, and they sent my check back, and I was like, crap. And so I just started searching everybody I knew to try to find an art department, an art director here. And I found this wonderful woman, Jessica Lampin, who's our production designer on Strange Thing. And she was like just coming off a feature and about to go on another feature. And like the time that she spent on Strange Thing was going to be her vacation. But she was just like, you know what, I love the script. Like, let's do this. And so she came on board, and she brought a great team. And yeah, we probably could have found ways to do it cheaper if we had more time, but since it was such a short time, such a time constraint, we basically just had to throw money at it. So that kind of
yeah.
brought the budget a little higher, and you know, um, yeah, I guess other challenges. Well, my DP, Jason Josepher, also was very busy. So like he was originally gonna do all 3 days of the shoot, and then in the end he couldn't do the third day because he had to go on to another like 2 week project like that day.
Uh,
So I had to
yeah.
bring in a backup DP to help out Michael Eppel, another guy I know local here in the Bay Area, and he did a fantastic job. But I mean, just like lots of things like that where it was just like we had no time. I should have pushed it back, like give us all a little bit more breathing room. But I was just so like gung ho, and I was like, we have to do it now, 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 now. And
Well,
it,
sometimes when the moment's there, it's just there. You're not going to get
yeah,
that chance again. And when the timing's there, you
yeah.
know.
And I mean, it would have been a lot of like there probably would have been tons of changes that would have happened to the story if I would have waited. And maybe they would have been for the better, maybe they would have been for the worse. And I kind of feel like that movie happened the way it did for a reason, and I love it and I'm proud of it. And it was hard, but we got it done. Another funny thing was, so we had the location in the forest, and that was the second day of shooting. We we'd scouted there, like me and Jason, the DP, and we had like picked the exact place where we wanted to shoot all the forest stuff. And there was a gate that was blocking it off, and I talked to the people who ran the park, and we had like a permit, and we had done it all officially, all the correct way. And we got there at 6 o'clock in the morning on our day of shooting, and they're like, they promised me the gate would be open. They're like, the gate will be open. And we got there, and the gate was closed.
Of course.
And it was like, oh my God. And there was pretty much no way we could do it because it was at least a 10-minute walk from the gate to where we wanted to shoot. And we had like, grip truck and like camera truck and all these other vehicles, and it just wasn't going to happen. So basically, rather than trying to like go around the gate or get someone to open the gate, Jason and I just went and we found a backup location closer to the parking lot. And it was challenging because it was on a hill, but it looked beautiful, and Jason loved it even more than the previous location. So I just trusted him, and I said, hey, okay, let's just do this. And we did, and it ended up working really well. And we probably couldn't have gotten, there's a dolly shot in the film that's like on a hill that's going down on that angle, and if it wasn't for that specific location, we wouldn't have had that shot. And that's actually one of my favorite shots in the film. So it was crazy, but it ended up working out in the end.
A little more kismet there for you, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So now I've noticed your film has received some kudos from some of the film festivals you've run the film at. You want to tell the folks about some of the kudos you've received thus far?
Yeah. So I got nominated for a few different awards at some of these different film festivals. The Galactic Film Festival, I was nominated for 3 awards and didn't win anything there. And then there was a couple others at the Idlewild Film Festival, and I didn't win anything there either. But we did win a couple through a Terra Film Festival, and we got a Best Science Fiction Film and I don't remember the other one right now that we won for. but it was really great, and we were also featured on a Film Shortage. That's where we premiered the film online, which was really cool. It got quite a positive response, a few awards, and it's just really great to have played at some of the places I got to play. The film played at Toronto After Dark in Canada last fall, which was a fantastic experience, and the shorts program was really, really well put together, and the movies that played there were just really, really amazing. Like the same day that my film screened, Dead Snow 2 screened that night, and a couple other really great movies screened at that film festival. Like The Babadook closed the festival out. Yes. And like just to be there and like meet these filmmakers and like see these great movies. Predestination was another one that played that festival that I just really, really loved, and I got to see it early because I was there. And it was a crazy experience. I met so many amazing filmmakers, and ABC's A Deaf 2 was another film that played, and it was just so cool to be in that environment with all these amazing filmmakers, and just a bunch of geeks watching like science fiction or the genre movies. It was really, really cool. So that was probably one of the aside from the awards, that was the best part, was just being able to go to these film festivals and meet these other filmmakers and see these great movies that you can't really see other places. Like Late Phases is another one that I don't think's out yet, but it's a werewolf movie set in an old folks home. It's fantastic. It was really, really cool. And I think now it just came out on VOD, but Wormwood is this zombie movie that played there that was like incredible. Those guys did such a great job. So yeah, that was really, really fun for that reason, just to see the movies.
Yeah. Is that a lot of time spent on the road, or?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, so the film played about 18 film festivals across the world, and I went to, I think, 10 or 12 of them. So I went to like Boston, Arizona. I went to Indianapolis for a film festival, which was great because that was another genre one. And we watched. It was like one day. I think it was something like 20 short films or 24 short films. And then like 3 or 4 features, like from 12 to 12.
Wow.
It was really, really cool. So, but yeah, I did quite a bit of traveling, and it was definitely worth it. And definitely, next film, if it gets in, if my next one gets into that kind of, that amount of film festivals, I'll definitely travel again because, just going around and being there for your movies, I think it's really important. And, getting to the film festival is nice and just having that, but being there, I think, is really what makes those film festivals valuable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great experience.
Well then, It kind of brings up something I was going to ask later, but we'll just skip to it now. What are you working on now, or do you have anything planned?
Yeah. So I've got a couple shorts that that I've written that I want to try to make just super low budget and just make happen. But my biggest project that I've been writing for about a year now is a feature film. It's called The Alternate, just a working title, but it's not a direct feature-length version of Strange Thing, but it's sort of got some similar ideas. It's basically about a videographer who discovers a portal to another dimension in which he has everything that he's ever wanted. He's got a wife with the perfect kid, he's got the perfect job, he's got the perfect house, and like the perfect career. And he spends some time in this alternate universe, kind of spying on his other life, and he starts to see that the other version of himself is like cheating on the perfect wife and just not the best father. And then so he starts to plan how he can like take the good life from his other self.
Okay.
So it's like a science fiction thriller, type film, and like sort of based in reality, and really like
parallel universe in there.
Parallel universe, like psychological thriller type thing. So like, what would you do if you were given this situation? So I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to raise money to get that thing happen, to make that movie happen.
You have a campaign online right now for it?
Not quite yet. I just got the script finished, and I'm putting some concept art together for it now on a poster. And then I don't know if I'll do a Kickstarter. I probably will at some point, but first I'm going to try to get some traditional investors on board, and then from there, maybe do a Kickstarter and see where I can get the money to make it happen.
Hey, well, if you do, let us know.
Yeah, man, totally. I'll keep you guys posted. If there's any online campaign of any kind, and just get the word out.
Yeah, we'll spread the word.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard road to get the budget together. I think writing the script, that getting a good story together, that's of course the biggest challenge. But from there, once you have all the pieces in place, it's like, where do you get the funds? Especially for independent science fiction, because like there's not as many grants, and I feel like, I guess in the Bay Area especially, like a lot of the focus is more on indie drama and documentary films, and I don't really feel like there's a super big group of science fiction filmmakers out this way. So
it's still kind of a up and coming genre of its own, really. I mean, getting recognized more just lately, as to opposed to where others have been taken seriously for longer.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they hear science fiction, they'll think like, oh, well, either the big blockbusters, or they'll think like direct-to-DVD type, low budget sci-fi, which is great, and I love that stuff.
Like
but
Ed Wood.
Ed Wood, or like I don't know, just some of these like sci-fi channel type stuff, Sharknado or whatever, But I mean, I just think that like there's really great stories in science fiction, and like really serious, hard, real stories that have great characters and ask great questions. And I think those are the kinds of things that I want to make and keep on working towards, and bring to the world, because I think people are really into it, and I think it just needs to get out there more.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great thing with the way things are now. People like myself, or anyone with access to the internet, can help spread the word on this stuff.
Yeah, and that's like I didn't necessarily want my next project to be a short film, because I really am hungry to do a feature. But I mean, I have access to a camera. Like, I know some great actors. I know great production people here in the Bay Area. So it's sort of like, while I'm trying to get the funding, I should just go out and make more movies, and put them on the internet so people can see what I'm doing, and hopefully get more awareness, and get these movies out there, and
then that feature film will happen.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, exactly. You just got to keep at it, and keep making things, because I think the worst thing that you could possibly do is make one movie and then just wait for someone to bring you the budget to make your next one, because that's just in a day where there's so many people making films, that's just not going to happen. You just gotta do it.
You gotta fight for the dollars even harder now.
Yeah, totally. Or the recognition. Or just for people to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just to even get seen. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's great with the cheaper technology and the good technology, that filmmaking is so accessible, but the other side to it is it can so much more competition.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise out there, and to like rise above all the other films that are being put out there, it can be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of noise, I see my neighbor started mowing his lawn. I hope that's not coming through too much.
No, I don't hear it.
Oh, fantastic.
It's a little bit in the background.
A little bit. Yeah, it's a small lawn. Can't take them long. So, look, man, when did you start making films?
So, I didn't really start at a super young age just because I didn't really have access to a camera until high school. But yeah, I was an AV nerd in high school, and I was part of the video production program there early on, and that's when I started making my first movies was in high school, and writing, crazy scripts of like kung fu movies that are like sort of Matrix inspired or whatever, and then in college I kept at it a little bit, started to take really try to take my schooling seriously, so I didn't focus too much time on making movies, but I've got some stuff from that era that's out on the internet, a couple short films that I made in college, and then since then it's basically been trying to like figure out how to like take it to the next level, and I did a lot of work on sets in the Bay Area, like as a PA, and I got some internships at a couple different production companies, and then I was a Reynolds manager for a long time. So that whole period, I was basically always like writing, and like I had like a bunch of short films that I wanted to make, but I was just about trying to make it happen and having the time and the drive to make it happen. And basically, it took me a really long time to really, just do it, and I didn't want it to be, just like a low budget DVR type, like a little, mini DV camera type thing. I wanted it to be like, we're going to shoot with like the latest technology. We're going to have a red camera. It's going to look like it could be in a movie theater. And so, I was kind of really just patient, I guess, and waiting until I had the right story to do it with and the time to make it good. And that's when Strange Thing happened. And since then, I've been writing, and, I feel like, gosh, it's time just to make more. Just keep doing it, get better, learn,
Exactly. So, what about some of these earlier films then? Some of this kind of films you were doing.
It's funny. They weren't really science fiction. I did one that was kind of it was more of a crime type of thing with a twist at the end, and then the other one was a Steven Seagal homage movie, which I actually starred in, which is not exactly what I'm trying to do anymore. But then I had a documentary that I made about my friend's band that I put out into film festivals. Got a couple minor awards, nothing big. And hopefully I'll put that online soon. It's funny. I let that sit for like 3 years, and it's sort of, I feel like I should have just cut it down. Made it like 10, 20 minutes, and just put it online for people to see. So that's one of the things I'm trying to work on now, is just put up that old project. But lately I've actually, I forgot to mention, like I've also been producing other films, like short films with other filmmakers that I know, and just trying to, keep busy. And one that I've produced in December is coming out soon. It's called Over My Dead Body. And we haven't launched the Facebook page or anything for it yet, but we're gonna put it up soon. And it's gonna be really fun. It's like a zombie drama, or a zombie drama, zombie romance kind of thing. It's I don't want to give too much away, because it's sort of like sort of part of the.
But there will be zombies. That's for sure.
There is a zombie. Yeah, there definitely is a zombie. So it's still up in my alley right now, which is all horror science fiction, which is pretty much all I can write about right now. It's just everything that I think of. It's like always got some sort of sci-fi horror twist in it, just because I don't know. That's just what I like. That's just what I find interesting.
Yeah.
So hopefully there'll be more stuff you can find online soon from me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what I was going to ask you. So you took that one right off the board for me here.
Yeah.
So who are the filmmakers you've really looked towards, you know, or been
Yeah.
inspired by?
Yeah, so John Carpenter is a huge, huge inspiration for me. Like, I love The Thing and They Live. Love that film.
Okay, yeah.
And just also Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
It's such a cool movie.
Yeah.
So John Carpenter is one, and I don't feel like he has ever really gotten enough recognition. At least at the time when he's been making movies, because I didn't really realize this, but like those movies didn't really do very well when they came out,
No.
and like didn't really get like an audience or anything, and now he's still around, but he's just not really making stuff, and it's just like, man, like he should be out there just making new things, making it happen.
Yeah, they weren't taking him seriously enough when he was putting out his body of work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like They Live, it's like a masterpiece, and like, I mean, it definitely has a following now and people know about it, but I mean, to know that it didn't really do well when it came out, it's sort of like, what? How's that possible?
Yeah, I know, it's surprising.
But yeah, also David Cronenberg, big fan of him, like The Fly, and what was the telepathic film? Gosh, Scanners. God, love Scanners.
Oh, yeah.
And then who else? Well, obviously James Cameron. I mean, Terminator 1 and 2 and Aliens are like my favorite movies, and I really want to make a movie with a really strong female protagonist. That's sort of what Strange Thing is also inspired by. Like, I really wanted Chris to be like a Sarah Connor type character, and in the future there is a feature-length version of Strange Thing, and she kind of becomes that by the end of that story, like from her husband, being taken, she kind of becomes this hero, and she in the end saves her husband from the aliens, or the ooze creature, whatever it was. Yeah. So yeah, those are some of my favorites. I'm also a huge Martin Scorsese fan, which is probably why like I did the crime film in college, just because I just love like Goodfellas and Raging Bull and Casino and all those films. Really a huge fan of his, and I'm also like watching younger guys too. Like there's a lot of people right now making really great movies that I'm really impressed and inspired by, like Neil Blomkamp, who will do the next Aliens movie, hopefully. The direct sequel to Aliens. I don't know if you've heard about this. But
yeah, I've heard about.
Yeah, really excited for that, and then for his next movie, Chappie, and I was a big fan of District 9 and Elysium too. Like just, he's made some really, really great movies. Yeah, who else? I mean, there's just a lot of people. Oh, what's his name? God, I'm gonna blow it. He did Looper. Do you remember Looper?
Looper, yeah.
Yeah, his name Ryan Johnson. Ryan. Man,
you got me, honestly.
I freaking sound like an idiot now. I don't know his name. But yeah, he also did, his first movie was Brick. I don't know if you saw that, but that was a really good one too. It was like a high school film noir, really fun movie.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen it.
But yeah, Looper is cool. It's like a time travel, excellent time travel movie. I love time travel movies too. Like Back to the Future. All that stuff.
Yeah, I just watched Looper a month ago or 2 months ago, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. How about, speaking of good movies, what are some of your favorite films and say TV series too? Then.
Oh yeah. Well, I really love Breaking Bad. Watching Better Call Saul right now.
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, it's fun. And then favorite films, like I said, Aliens, Alien, Terminator. Really big fan of it's all the classics like Predator, and Running Man, or early Arnold. Anything early Arnold, I'm just a huge fan of. I wish we had a modern day Arnold right now, and I think there's a couple people who could be that, but just haven't really taken the full leap yet. Like The Rock, obviously, would be like perfect if he just took those kinds of roles. It would just be like, it'd be amazing. Or Dave Bautista, like from Guardians of the Galaxy, he's another guy who could just be that modern day Arnold kind of character. But yeah, Commando, another classic Arnold movie that I love. Yeah, you know,
Total Recall,
Total Recall. Oh my
one of my
God, yeah, Total
favorites.
Recall. Can't forget that one. That's so good. But yeah, I also like a lot of old movies too, like Double Indemnity is a really great, film noir from the '40s, I think. And then, Key Largo, another great one
Hmm.
with what's his name, Edward G. Robinson.
Yeah.
Huge fan of his. Yeah, and then a big Marx Brothers fan too. So
Oh,
Duck Soup, Animal Crackers. I don't
uh,
know if you can see in the background. I got a Marx Brothers poster.
I could see the Judas Priest.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and the music. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I love the Marx Brothers too. Have forever have all their
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, man, they're great. And yeah, I mean, also just love like this, old Star Wars, old Star Trek.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, Star Trek's been a big deal for me, just because, like, yeah, I watched that growing up as a kid. That was the one, like, Star Trek: The Next Generation was the one thing that my mom would let me stay up to watch.
Uh,
So we would watch that whenever it was on, and you know, um, it was really fun to like rewatch those with my wife, because my wife's a big Star Trek fan too. So we
hmm.
basically got everything on Blu-ray and we just watched the whole series from the beginning
Yeah,
through the end, and just really, really, just I don't know, man. Those stories are so good. Like,
just the writing's just fantastic,
yeah,
and just
it
the
is.
the trove of like writers, producers that are out there and have been out there for decades now that came from Next Generation is a
Yeah,
big number.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, totally. Yeah, well, they just really they knew how to tell stories that had always had like a really good message, and really made you think and like ask tough questions,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, it's this space show that people kind of like laughed at for many years, and this is the new version, and it's got such a strong indication, like a strong association with like nerds, and oh,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be a nerd to like Star Trek, and but you watch those and they're so smart. It's like better writing and better stories than like 90% of what's on television, and what's being made in movies.
Yeah.
And I just feel like people just who haven't seen it should just you know to throw away any like idea of what you have of what Star Trek means and just watch it. It's like
Yeah.
so
Get rid of
cool.
your preconceptions and check it
Yeah,
out.
totally.
And that's one of the
Yeah, man.
things about science fiction that it can do is address issues in a manner that they can bury it in allegory,
Yeah,
but
totally.
still get it right out there. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's one of the most sophisticated things it does as a genre. I'd say.
Yeah, totally.
Let's see what we've got here. All right, cover that. And that. Ah, that's the question we jumped ahead to. Okay, now this one I do want to know about.
Okay.
We've kind of hinted on the general area already, but as indie films and shows grow in number and popularity, what impact do you see their influence and role in entertainment being now and in the future?
Well, I don't know. I really hope that independent movies continue to get more attention, and that these small movies that people make, like, just with whatever budget they can scrap together, like, in their backyards, like whatever, they start to get more recognition, and get put out into theaters, because, like so many of these films that are just fantastic just don't ever get seen anywhere, or they'll get buried
Mm-hmm.
on VOD, or they'll get buried on, you know, on nowhere,
Uh-huh.
on video, on Amazon, or on Netflix. And I just think that like there's so many great stories being told, and so many great filmmakers out there just making it happen. Like I want to see those movies in the theater. Like I don't want to see like the next, like like Hot Tub Time Machine 2, or
Yeah.
whatever, like tons and tons of sequels. Like here's the better answer to the question. What I really would want is that independent filmmaking can help bring Hollywood away from the sequel and like existing properties thing that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because there just isn't enough original content being put out there that's truly original and only comes from itself. Like I just it's like it almost seems like that's a prerequisite these days. Like it needs to be based on a book. It needs to be based on a comic book. It needs to be a remake from something from before, like,
Yeah, something
people
we
just
can
don't.
just pay some rights for and rehash it again. And,
Right, like, oh, it's already got a following. Like, bam, let's do it. Like, like,
uh,
I mean, like, Whiplash is a great example of one of these movies that kind of came just from like a short film, and then it did really well at Sundance, and then yeah, it got Oscar, recognition. And I mean, I think that, I don't know how truly independent that movie is, but I mean, I think it's like compared to the other movies that were at the Oscars and the other movies that are out in Hollywood these days, I think it's
mm-hmm.
like, way, way more independent than anything else. So I just want that trend to continue. Like, I really wanted the Babadook to get love this Oscar season, and I know that it's not going to happen, or it was never going to happen, because it's not. It's a horror movie for one.
Mm-hmm.
Horror doesn't get any love, and
No.
two, because the whole system, it's all about campaigning and politics and whatever, and But I just hope that things keep on going more towards independent filmmaking, and more towards giving filmmakers who aren't within the Hollywood system a chance to get their movies out there and get their movies seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just hope that continues, and I know that people are going to keep on making more and more movies, because it's more and more accessible to do so. There's more and more tools out there to teach you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hope that driving force happens, and that maybe people aren't spending millions and millions of dollars on like a sequel, or a sequel to a sequel, or a
Yeah.
prequel to a sequel, or whatever, and that they're putting some of that money into younger up and coming filmmakers.
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly like how there's been this talk about scrambling to find a way to keep Mockingjay going after the final installment. How do we
Oh
keep it
my
alive now? That exact
Jeez.
problem, and which kind of, which is where I see a lot of this. This issue is, this is how a lot of independent film and the series will really get their proper due, is by online. This online technology we use now, and a lot of people are cutting the cable. A lot of people are sick of it.
Yeah.
And as we've been talking about, sick of Hollywood, like just not taking a risk on anything, just trying to, you know, put out crap and just hope everybody just keeps buying the same crap. You
Right.
know.
No, exactly. And I think, like, Amazon and Netflix are going to be a big, big player in that.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if you know about this thing that Amazon does, but they do it's like a pilot season that they just do themselves. So they'll just shoot like 10 or 12 pilots, and then they'll just put the pilot up onto Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
and then people can just watch them, and then they vote. And they're like, okay, well, do you want to see more of this pilot? Do you want to see more of this pilot, or whatever?
Oh,
And I
that's
think it's a
cool.
really great way to, like, yeah, like, they don't put, I don't know how much they're putting into each pilot, but it's a great way to, like, test the waters, and, like, let, like, people decide, and let
Yeah.
people be involved in, like, selecting content. And, like, it's not just like, oh, here's a sequel, we know you're gonna buy it. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, here's some original content, like, what do you think?
Mhm.
And I think they should do that with features too. Like, I don't know how you do it. Like, maybe you would, like, do promo trailers that you would fund, like, through Amazon or through Netflix, or and then, like, have filmmakers put together a little trailer for their feature, and then put those online and be like, hey, which ones do you like? Vote for the ones you like, and then you can put that onto Netflix, and that'll be
Yeah.
like the next Netflix original movie, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think, like, getting younger, hungry, like, unknown filmmakers involved, I think that is, like, what's important, because I think they're just, I don't know, like, I don't really know too much about how it works, but what it seems like to me is that if you're in the system and you're, like, paid to direct or write a movie, no matter how badly it does, like, oh
Mhm.
well, okay, do another one.
Yeah.
It's like, here's some more money, go make another movie. Like, maybe it didn't do well critically, but it made enough money to make its money back. So, oh yeah, okay, do another one. It's
Yeah.
like,
That's what they
oh
look at.
yeah, like, why don't you just find some guy who's, like, out there, like, just making some interesting content, like, that people are enjoying, and then give him a chance. And I guess they are doing that to some extent. Like, there was that guy who did that movie Panic Attack, that had a million hits or whatever, and then he got the job directing the new Evil Dead remake or whatever.
Mhm.
So, like, it is happening, but I just want to see it more.
Mhm.
And like, people just taking it like less of making it less of the exception and more the rule, I should say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there needs to be more of a breakdown of the old Hollywood business model. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, guys, you know, get with it. That's not how things work anymore. And if you really want to, you know, still be competitive and even matter in the long run, they just have to really shake that up, because the old pump and dump that they've been pulling for years now, that, you know, they haven't even been making original stories.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, and with all the power of, you say, streaming, like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO is
Yeah.
going to a streaming service.
Yeah.
Um,
HBO Go. Yeah.
yeah, it, that's like, I would hope that's really going to shake them up and make them, you know, change things in the years to come. It's obviously not happening right now.
Right. Right.
In fact, in a lot of ways, they just seem more desperate than ever right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like you're talking about the Mockingjay thing. Like, what are you gonna do over the next, like, trying to keep Hunger Games going? Well, how about you take that 150 million or 200 million or whatever it was you're gonna use to make the next Hunger Game, and you know, make
Make a few films.
$35 million movies, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever the math is, $25 million movies instead of like, yeah, $200 million. It just seems like obvious to me.
Yeah.
You know, like movies don't have to be ridiculously high budgeted in order to work. Like you can like, I mean, geez, dude, like I was going to these film festivals, like I saw some amazing movies that were done for like 20,000, 30,000, like, you know, $50,000, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't need tons of money. I mean, obviously they all starve doing it, you know? But I mean, yeah, give those guys like, you know, $200,000 even, and
Yeah.
they can make an awesome movie,
Yeah.
you know? Like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it just needs to be, I don't know, money just needs to be delved up in a better way. Like,
It needs to be more content driven
yeah,
than money driven.
yeah. I mean, I don't know.
The
I
money
mean,
will follow the good content.
yeah, exactly. Like, you know, if these guys who are winning these script contests, like they have all these different script contests out there, like, you know, they have meetings or whatever and all this stuff, but like, I don't think those movies aren't being produced. Like, why don't you like take the winner and like automatically produce that movie, you know, and like do it that way rather than like, oh, okay, you're a good writer. We'll bring you into our system so you can make our, you know, whatever, like Battleship movie
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, Candyland movie or whatever crap they want to make. Like, why don't you take the original content that got them into your door and actually produce that freaking script that you love so much?
Yeah.
How about that? You know, like that seems like a pretty easy thing to do, but I don't know. People don't seem to be interested in doing that. You know?
No, I mean, not the ones with all the bucks. Apparently, they just want
Yeah.
more bucks. So.
You always hear about like spec sales and stuff, and like, you know, a lot of times like they're kind of treated more like, okay, that's like write a spec script and that'll be your sample, and then you'll get your job to write something else. It's like, well, why does that have to be a sample? Why can't that be a movie? Like,
Yeah.
obviously it was good enough to get you into the door with, you know, X, Y, and Z person.
Yeah.
Let's make that movie, right? Like, we don't need, you know, $100 million to make it. Let's just do it for 2 million, a million, $500,000. Let's just go make that movie low budget.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my little rant on that.
Well, I pretty much agree with that rant. I've ranted that rant many times myself, I think.
Cool. Well, I'm not alone.
No, I don't think you're nearly alone. So, hey man, look, where can people find you online?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at AlrikB. You can also find me on Facebook. Probably easiest thing, just Strange Thing Movie on Facebook. Please give us a like. And then, yeah, also BursellProductions.com. That's my website for my, like, you know, corporate video work. But you can find Strange Thing in any other project on there too. But yeah, I guess the easiest way would probably be Twitter at AlrikB, or yeah, Facebook Strange Thing Movie.
All right, great. I'll make sure we have all that information listed in the description below, as well as we'll put a link to Strange Thing itself, of course, because hopefully
Yeah.
people really want to see it now after, you know, we've been discussing the
totally.
film at the beginning of the interview. So
Yeah, totally. Watch Strange Thing. Leave a comment. You know,
Yeah.
share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Twitter. You know, get the word out, man. I mean,
and if you're a
I want
Trekkie, you're
people to see
gonna
it.
enjoy a lot of the a little inside humor, and I won't give anything else away. But
No, no, they'll find out,
Yeah.
and then they can tweet me about
Yeah.
it or
So
whatever.
go see it. Go see it.
Go
Click
see
that
Strange
link.
Things.
Yeah.
Click the link.
Click it now. We're pretty much done. So click it and watch the film.
Yeah, cool.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks a lot for being on. Really had a
Yeah.
good time, and it was very interesting for me.
No, thank you, Kevin Zant. Really appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem, no problem. And yeah, definitely keep in touch with what you're doing, your projects. If you do a Kickstarter, anything, and we'll promote. We'll put it out there, put the word out, and have you back on. You know.
Yeah, please do, man. Yeah, I should have the Over My Dead Body should be coming out in the next couple months, and I've got a little zombie drone, little tiny viral video that's coming out soon, and yeah, hopefully this movie I'm writing, Brother, will come out soon too. So,
Yeah.
I'll keep you guys posted.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Alrik, I guess we're signing off. Thank you
Okay.
very much for your time. Really
No, thank you,
appreciate it.
man. Yeah, thank you. I hope I gave you enough to work with here.
Oh, this has been great. Yeah, and I'm sure other people are going to be very interested with what you had to say. So,
Awesome, man.
okay, everybody, go check out Alrik. You know where it is. It's in the description below. Okay. See you guys.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah, live long and prosper.